Welcome back, everyone, and Happy New Year too. I hope the New Year's been treating you all well so far. For my first video in 2026, we'll be looking at my entire model train collection once again. I usually do these collection videos about once a year or so, and it's that time again. A lot of new models have been added to the collection since the last update, and a few models have been dismantled for other projects. On my little setup, I apparently have over 50 model trains, which is quite a lot for this space. There's very little room now. But let's go through all of them, and we'll start with the number one engine himself. Thomas is easily my favorite model of the whole collection, and I know that sounds pretty basic, but I just really like how he turned out. He was made using a resin body shell print from Double M Models and mounted on the old school Hornby Terrier chassis. I really love the proportions of this shell. It really just conveys the essence of Thomas, you know? To me, it just feels very right. Sadly, the shell has been delisted from the Etsy store, but Double M Models still sells a lot of different 3D prints for model trains in 00 gauge and a lot of 009 too. Link to their store will be below. Edward is in a rather sorry state. In 2024, he took a nasty fall, and the body shell no longer stays on the body properly. And also the bogie had a lot of issues too, it just kept coming out. So eventually I just took a screw and just over-tightened it for now. The shell is made by Pixel Crafters and was bought from the Shapeways store before Shapeways entirely went under. And the shell is stuck onto a tender-driven Dapple 2P. I'm honestly not happy with how he's kind of aged. I can still see a lot of the print lines as it didn't sand it properly, and his lining looks pinkish now. Edward is a model I plan on fully redoing from the ground up, and hopefully I can find a good base model soon. But for now, this is how he sits. Henry is another model I want to redo, mostly because I feel like he looks too standardized for what he's meant to be. He was made using a Bachmann Standard 5, and he was actually one of my earliest models, and was also the earliest redone as well. I originally painted him about a few months or so after I got him. Hopefully I can find a good chassis to buy multiples of so I can make a pre-rebuild and post-rebuild Henry's models. But one day though. Gordon is a model I feel has aged pretty well. He's made from a Hornby Flying Scotsman. I know it's an older model, I don't know when it was made, but it is tender driven. And it was actually the first model train I ever bought, so it holds little sentimental value to me. One day I plan on sprucing him up a bit with a new matte clear coat, some more paint touch-ups, and a few more extra additions. But as he stands, I'm still pretty proud of my Gordon. James is the only model I've made two of. I made him in his regular livery, and then a Busy Bee variant. Both James were made using the Bachmann N-Class, which I got both for bargains. I am really happy with how both these models turned out. The colors just really pop, and I love it. Gotta love James. Percy is currently the smallest 00 gauge model I own. He was made using a shell by Pixel Crafters that is mounted on an old Dapple Pug chassis. I am really happy with how utilitarian he kind of looks. Pretty fitting for the little guy. Pretty cool. Toby is a model that I still love. He was made using Rapido's glorious J70. And I got mine in a 3-pack of coaches. Rapido just never misses. And Toby is another model that has aged really well in my opinion since I made him. Can't go wrong with Toby. Duck is another model I am really proud of the outcome of as well. He was made using the Bachmann 5700 pannier. And I intentionally gave him NWR lettering as opposed to GWR. So you see in my AU, all legacy liveries, like homages to Great Western, LMS, etc., will have the NWR lettering on Sodor instead. And you'll see this on a few other models later on. Just can't go wrong with Duck. Donald and Douglas are both made using their Bachmann counterparts. I intentionally made some details different between the two to give them a little more personality and distinction. They aren't perfect, I know, but I still like them. They turned out pretty well, I feel. Oliver was made using the older Hornby 1400. And he's painted the same custom mint mix as Duck and Jackie, which you'll see later on. I prefer this over the drab IRL Great Western Green any day. I've always liked seeing trains and model trains in bright, vibrant colors, you know? Just can't go wrong with it. Gotta love Oliver. Arthur is my AU's Northwestern number 12. And he's just Bachmann's IVIT 2MT tank engine repainted. And painted him in a style similar to the unlucky TUGS model, but with NWR lettering as opposed to LMS. I have yet to number him, as when I made him, I didn't have my NWR numbering sorted out. But one day I might add his number 12, but who knows. But Arthur's just a cool guy, you know? Can't go wrong with any model. Molly is a model that I might just flat out replace. You see, when I'm making her, I accidentally damaged her pickup wiring that goes to the tender, and she no longer runs as a result. I've since added some more details here and there, like white wall tires and other bits here and there, but I might just get a new D16 and start from scratch. Kinda sad since I really wanted to make Molly super early, but I shouldn't have tried taking those pickups out, so who knows what'll happen. But do know that she might get redone at some point. Emily was made using her Bachmann counterpart, and I'm pretty happy with this still. Not much else to say really, but that's Murdoch is a model that has also aged pretty well, I feel. Although his motion tends to jam from time to time. This is a tender driven model, so it doesn't really huge deal, but it is kind of annoying to have to fix it. Ah well, just gotta live with it I guess. Ryan is one of my newest models I've made, and he was made using the old Hornby GNR N2. And I really love how his livery came out. The colors just work so well together, but not much else to say really, but can't go wrong with Ryan, you know? BoCo is another one of my newer models, and he was made using the old Helgen Class 28 tooling, and he's painted in Northwestern green. I am really happy how it turned out, although I do want to add some detailing like in between the bogies like in real life, as this model didn't have anything like that, but I still love BoCo. Can't go wrong. Stanley is a model that is set to be redone completely. I'm no longer really happy with how these turned out at all. The paint finish is very rough, and also his proportions I feel are kind of weird. And I plan on using the new Bachmann Stanley as a base. So for now, this model will be sent to the Shadow Realm and probably used for parts later on. So yeah. Jinty is a model that I really like how it turned out. It's mainly simple. I just scraped off the lettering and then painted her with Northwestern blue lining. But I just really like how the livery turned out. It just scratches a certain itch in my brain, you know? But I really like how she turned out. Pretty cool. Mavis is another model that I'm happy with. Really like how her bright reddish orange side plates came out. That's something I've always seen on the take and play photos, and I've really wanted to replicate that here. Love how it turned out, you know? Spencer is a model that I am very proud of. He was made using the Hornby tooling of Mallard, which is a little older and is also tender driven. It's painted in Silver Link's colors. Porterverse Spencer is indeed the real life Silver Link, but preserved unlike in real life. Painting was a bit of a pain in the ass, but I still love how he turned out. Here is an OC of mine. Hyman is meant to be one of the background Reddit engines from the first Railway series book. And Hyman was made using Oxford Rail's Dean Goods model. A really nice model and was super easy to disassemble every little piece, so it made it super easy to paint. Just a fun simple model. Not much else to say. Belle is also just a simple repaint. Nothing too crazy, though I really like how her livery turned out like this indigo color. Pretty cool. Paxton is one of my 2 Class OH hunters that I currently have. And I really like how his livery turned out. Just so classy. Gotta love Paxton, you know? Here is Sigrid, the first OC of mine that I modeled. And she has gotten a lot of updates since you last saw her. Notably, her cow catchers are actually real this time. These are the same as the print file from Mavis, where I printed the new cow catchers and side plates for. Printed 2 extras for Sigrid, and it fits perfectly. Sigrid also has a new matte clear coat now, which really makes the paint look that much better. Looks really nice now. Porter is here too. I somehow forgot him initially when doing all the pictures for this, so hence the different background, but he is what I think an AHM or Rivarossi switcher model modified with a new buffer beam. And of course, painted to like the cool character. I don't know how I forgot him initially, but he's here now, so yeah. Salty is a model that I really liked making. Weathering Rapido's Class 07 is always fun, you know? Always going to town with the oil stains. You just can't go wrong with Salty, you know? Just can't. Sam is the biggest model I have ever made, full stop. He is a giant challenger class, and it took a lot of patience to get him done. But I'm still happy how he turned out. Sam's pretty cool. Pip and Ember are two of my earlier models, and I honestly thought were non-runners. But I actually tested Pip, and she actually runs. Although, very noisily. I'll have to fix that at some point. But regardless, I still love these two. Daisy was redone last year, and I feel like she looks way better now. She was made using Hornby Railroad Class 121 Bubble Car. In her most recent redo saw her gain a new darker livery, actual lining, and just much better than before, I feel. Barry was a pretty fun model. I know he isn't Railway Series accurate, but I'm not really cared too much. This is an AU model. But I like to think that he started as a tank engine, but then in the Railway Series, although he was rebuilt later on as tender engine when he came to Sodor. But yeah, Barry's pretty cool. That's kind of it, really. Class 40, or in my AU named Ringner, was made from the Hornby Railroad Class 40. I kind of regret making him so early as he takes up a decent amount of space on the setup. But regardless, I still like how he turned out. Pretty cool. Here is Flora. She is currently a free-rolling model using a 3D print from Shapeways. One day I might give her a power chassis, but who knows. For now, she'll just be free-rolling. Sydney is my other Class OH chunk that I've modeled. I painted him in Northwestern Blue and then whited him to hell and back with oil stains, which is why he looks so much darker. Aside from that, not much else to say. It's Sid. Queso was made from a Mantua articulated logging engine, and I like how she turned out. Again, nothing much else really to say. But yeah. Here is Kenji, fully painted to match his TV series design. Except for his bottom skirt, I guess. It was purple in the show, but I decided to paint it blue here, and I think it looks better. Again, not much else to say really. Just Kenji. Pretty cool. Here's my 80th anniversary Thomas model, painted in a Middleton illustration inspired livery. It's pretty fun to make, and I'm really glad how the video turned out. Good one. Here is my 65th anniversary Henry, which was really fun to paint. This was inspired by the 65th anniversary Thomas Wynn Railway toy. Followed up this special merch. ROD 2406, the first and so far only model that I've purchased in the UK. I bought this guy in a model shop in York back in 2022. I intend to keep this model as it is currently. It holds a bit of a special place for me, so I just want to keep him as it is. But one day, I would like to have another trip to the UK and buy more models, you know? Be pretty cool. Here are my narrow gauge engines. Scarloey, Rheneas, Peter Sam, and Rusty. I really like how these four turned out. They were a bit of a pain to paint because they're so small. But I do plan on making a few more. But for now, it's just these four here. But hopefully more in the future. Here are my Autobot models. These are not Porterverse models, but they're just models I like to make. I have Optimus Prime, Bumblebee, Cliffjumper, and Centurion. And all four of them will get their own showcase in a few weeks. And here are my road vehicles. Birdie, Terrence, Thumper, and Bulstrode. Bulstrode isn't a road vehicle, but you get the point. Bulstrode is actually too small now that I'm noticing it. So I might have to redo him at some point. But for now, these are my current roadies. And I plan to make more soon. And that, my friends, is my entire model train collection. I do plan to make many more model trains, but I do need a little more space. And importing UK models is still expensive due to the stupid tariff situation. So for now, I guess we'll just focus on redoing older models and any models I can find on like eBay domestically or on Amazon, for example. Stanley is the first redo I plan to start. In fact, he'll be already been started by the time this video goes up. And I plan on making a few other characters too. I want to make Rampage, although he's a backrunner project. And also a new pair of twin characters, which those chassis I revealed on Twitter ages ago. I decided to try to convert them into Riff and Jiff. Their interurban engines designs, which are the Y10 trams. But for now, it'll just be the redos. And those will happen later on in the year. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all same time next week.